So we're currently playing D&D 5th edition and we're running through Ghosts of Saltmarsh. This is our adventuring group, a nice wide selection of races and classes. So let's meet the cast. We have the Goliath fighter, an Echo Knight, who always thinks with his sword first. We've got the Werewolf Ranger, strange combination, a character wholly obsessed with loot and gold, and drinking anything he can get his hands on, as you will soon see. We've got the Drow or Dark Elf Bard, but they have a little stage fright. We've got the Half Elf Wizard, based on the Rick and Morty D&D character, which was itself based on Jerry, so that gives you some idea of him. And last but not least, the latest member to the group, the Minotaur Paladin, also known as the Unchained. Let's just see how well these adventurers fare in the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. But it is with a twist. It isn't just Ghosts of Saltmarsh, it is set in my world. It's a world I've created where I've handpicked some places to be replaced by places from D&D. But this is very much a Saltmarsh adventure, so you will notice some of the themes, some of the areas, but I have changed a lot of it. So if you recognize something but think it's a little different, that normally tends to happen with the modules from D&D, so we're going to jump straight into this story. So the adventurers arrived in town and immediately sought after information to journey on with, except the ranger, who ventured into gambling and debauchery and had nothing to show for it but an 80 gold loss and a bruised ego. Eventually they were greeted by a half-orc butler who is currently filling the town's notice board with requests, sort of like a choose your own adventure. They had the option of stopping the lizard folk and their large army from gathering weaponry, a haunted house. We picked the haunted house. Okay, but the haunted house. So without hearing the rest of the options, they're straight off to the haunted house, down the coast, aided by some rowboats lent to them. And as they arrive, the wizard begins to search the outside as the fighter, who is currently moving into becoming an Echo Knight, kicks in the door and throws his Echo out to search around for them. Eventually, after working up the courage, the rest of the group heads in as well and begins to tear apart the house. The bard gets freaked by ghostly voices, the fighter covers double the ground of anyone else, the paladin actually finds the right way, but it's a while before anyone joins him, and the wizard and ranger find a half-naked man tied up in a chimney. Right. They do eventually cut him free despite the ranger's disagreement for some reason, and after giving them a little of the backstory and a few vials of something, he bucks it out of the house. Now, the ranger for some odd reason accepts 20 gold, maybe to make up his earlier losses, to down the potion without first inspecting it. And it's obviously poison as he cripples over in agony. The whole group, after turning the house upside down, head into the basement, but are then ambushed by the undead, only caught by the wizard before they are attacked. This manages to be a saving grace as he manages to throw up mirror images to cover their backs, and a brawl ensues. The Minotaur Paladin smashes one into a wall, pulverizing it. The bard brings down a cloud of daggers on them, and the rest chip and hack their way through the rest. Once they get a second to take a break, they catch their breath and finally have a chance to do what they do best and loot. They tear every room apart, taking anything not nailed down, before finally venturing into the caverns below. Obviously, the necromancer at this point is well aware of them and waits patiently for their arrival, at which point he instantly charms the first person into the room and carnage ensues. The ranger turns around with his daggers drawn, tries to slash at the bard's throat and hits. The fighter then quickly manages to maneuver his way straight to the boss, using his Echo Knight again, and chip him down to almost death before he yields and begs for mercy. He has no interest in fighting, or more so dying, and makes a deal to surrender their boat and bounty, which are crates full of weaponry, in exchange for his life. Everyone agrees and everything is happily ever after. Or so it would have been, had the group not forgotten the one rule of this fighter: ask questions later. So as they agree the deal with the necromancer and he slowly backs out of the room, he bumps into the fighter. And with a mighty swing, the necromancer crumbles to the floor, his spirit leaving his body, and gives the warning,
"You will pay for what you have done here today."
Now, the party was warned, or told I should say, the Hold of Sea Princes, which are a group of pirates, are at war with Saltmarsh. Prior to all of this, which is why they didn't really want to put themselves in the middle of a war. However, from Scooby-Dooing around this haunted house, they have managed to get themselves in the middle of one of the greatest wars this side of the kingdom. But that isn't all, there is much more to do for these adventurers. Let's see how else they can mess them up or intertwine them or annoy anyone else. I can't really say about the other adventures. If you've played this module yourself, you're going to know at home, but I do think some of the players watch this, so I'm just going to be safe and say there is a lot of piracy and seafaring to come. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure you are subscribed for the next one, as I will be continuing this adventure all through lockdown, as it is something we're going to be doing actually weekly or fortnightly at the minute. So it is going to be perfect for obviously YouTube, but also just keeping me sane through lockdown mainly. I hope everyone else is doing well. If not, reach out to people, reach out to me, drop your comments below, and I'm more than happy to reply and talk, because it's not easy. But hopefully this video has made it even the slightest bit easier. If not, let me know how you got on with Saltmarsh in the comments below, because I am curious. It's always so different for people. DMs choose to include some parts and not others. They change parts. So let me know your adventures down below. But until next time,